Hello, everybody. This is Venice from Magical Egypt Live, and today we have something that Magical Egypt has never done before. So I am very excited to introduce my partner in crime, Marla Durden. Say hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, darling. I'm really excited to share this with our people. So, Mala is an amazing woman. She is a shaman and an artist and a modern day medicine woman, I think would be the most accurate way of explaining Marla. And Marla has been a friend on Facebook for a very, very long time. But how all of this came about was that Magical Egypt also did something that we've never done before. And that was start a project called the Anamnesis Project. Now, the Anamnesis Project is a project where people who have memories from ancient Egypt come and we all share them together, right? And the reason that we did this was in hopes of being able to essentially reclaim some ancient wisdom, right? Because there's a lot of things that went on back in ancient Egypt that I think could have really great ramifications for us today. And so one day Mala pops in and we were talking about the subject of pharaonic consciousness. And Mala's like, boom, blew all of our minds. Mala had has an understanding of pharaonic consciousness that is so complete and so perfect and so congruent that she brought the whole group into this incredible focus. And so I don't know, before we get into what we're doing about this, Mala, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about pharaonic consciousness and your journey and how you got to this place of such wisdom that has catapulted us up on a great adventure?
Thank you for asking, Venice. Well, back in 2008 and 9 is really where this began to come into awareness for me. And the reason why I say that is in some ways I've been living out this understanding subconsciously about what real leadership really is. And during this period, I had a series of dreams. And these dreams, it came on one night. I woke up one morning with this dream, and then the dream came back to me during the day, and then it came back again the next day. And then over the course of really about a month or so, I would have some memory imprint of this dream every day. And so that's how I know, for me, that's a sign that it's super important. And in this dream, I woke up, I was Pharaoh, and what Pharaoh was, and to my understanding in this dream is actually Pharaoh is two co-regents, a male and a female, to hold basically the poles, right? Like if we're creating something, to hold the poles of a battery, to hold the poles. And our job then is to have this to create and hold this field of consciousness, this field of knowing within which creation energy pours, and then it precipitates into reality, into manifestation. And our role as Pharaoh was to hold and nurture and protect this field, and to also make sure that every single person was in the right spot. So that and so we have, like, in this notion we hear in kind of the kind of in the Bible stories, in the common folklore, like, Pharaoh had slaves. There was no slavery. It was like every single person had a note, and the harmony that was the field of our community. Every person had like, you got the French horns, you got the flutes, you got the clarinets, but everybody had their instrument, they had their note, their harmony, and it was the harmony that they loved, the harmony that was best for them to play, the harmony that brought them the most joy, that connected them most fully to life. And that was the role of Pharaoh, was to make sure that this field of consciousness that was holding the community together was clear and open and spacious and nurtured and fed, so that you have the well-being for the community. And part of the kind of the knowing that came out of the dream was this part of really, how you do that is you call forth people's best. You call them to their best, and you put them in the spot that they feel happiest, right? Like you call them to their best, and then you let them go and do their best. And I kind of subconsciously knew that that's how you lead people. And I like, and so I've been in situations where I've been put in leadership positions, like, even though I'm like, and I don't even know how I'm here, but there was just this sense of something that I knew even young about how you really lead. And so this dream kind of brought this all together for me, and it opened it for me in a new way. And there's more too, but we'll leave it at that for now.
What I find is really interesting is we have come a long way, baby, and not in a good sense, right? Most people in their lives today could barely say they're doing what makes them the most happy, right?
Correct. Yeah.
People, yeah. I mean, and in one respect, COVID's kind of been weird, because one of the good things that's come out of COVID is that people have had the time to actually think about this, and people are starting to realize maybe I was wasting my life doing what I was doing, which is not something that I love nor what I'm good about, or good at doing. It was just about putting money on the table, right? And so I love that aspect of it completely, that we have a note, and that when we know what our note is, we can join this beautiful choir. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And the second thing is, I love the idea of a group of people that are coming together, that all have their notes and can work together in synergy and harmony, right? And that way create so much more than anybody can do on their own, right? There is a synergy in the harmony, like one note, two notes. And that is something about harmonies as a singer. Whenever I have somebody to sing in harmony with, it's so much bigger than the two of us, right? So there's like a multiplication effect there, which is really huge. But there's also a part of the story that I loved about when you were in Amsterdam, my dear, that also reflected on this. So a lot of very synchronistic things happened to Marla in Amsterdam. So go ahead and tell us about that, sweetie.
Well, I had an amazing time in Amsterdam. I would have to say that it really was a life-changing, it was really a life-changing journey. When I was there, I had 3 people who did not even know each other, all on within a few short weeks of each other, gift me psychedelic.
I wish that would happen to me. I have to go to Amsterdam, honey.
So it was really interesting because it began out of a conversation, and I was telling this friend that I, kind of almost in a joking way, I said, well, I'm gonna ask Grandmother Maria Sabina myself. And it was kind of like, ha 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 ha, right? And then I decided, I had said a little prayer, and she answered.
Now, people might not know who she is, sweetie. So explain who Maria Sabina is.
Maria Sabina is the Mazatec curandera who introduced us to the magic mushroom. Wasson went to Mexico and met with her, and was the first Westerner to do the sacred mushroom journey and brought them to the West.
And there's a story in there too, isn't there?
Oh, there's a whole other story. We'll save that one for later. But yes, there's a whole story in that as well. Yeah, which actually came out while I was in Amsterdam. So what I will say is, so the first time this friend in Amsterdam gave me something, I was actually surprised and happy. And I thought, well, okay, well, I'll try to figure this out, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And so then shortly thereafter, another friend doesn't even know the first friend, gave me some others, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And so that didn't work. And then shortly thereafter, another person who I didn't really even know gave me something, and I now I'm scared. Actually, now I'm scared because I was telling a friend, I said, I feel like the Fae are trying to get my attention. And by the third time, I thought, okay, wow, they really want my attention. And so I did what you do in those circumstances. I prepared myself for ceremony because I thought they have worked really hard to get my attention. And so I did. I prepared myself for ceremony and had a ceremony that was profound and life-changing for me personally in many, many ways.
And we'll get to it in a moment. I think one of the things that's really important about the story so far is that you really did, in fact, prepare yourself for ceremony, right? And so when it comes to these kinds of medicines, right, they really are ritual sacraments.
Yes.
And given, like you said, that you were cognizant that the universe was really trying to give you a message, that enabled you to approach this journeying with the right perspective. And that's really so important. I know for myself that I didn't listen to the universe when it was trying to tell me something, and I ended up breaking my neck in a car crash, right? So it really, it really behooves one to listen to the universe, right? So I love that you heard, and then I love that you approached it with reverence, the reverence that was necessary. And I think that's why the outcome of this story is just so incredibly profound, really, is that you approached it with the right attitude.
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. And part of it, and these are plant intelligences. These are intelligent beings and consciousnesses that we are able to connect with and interact with. Not only is the plant medicine itself an intelligence, a highly evolved intelligence, but the bridge that the plant intelligence creates for us allows us to be in greater conscious communication and relationship with beings that we otherwise would not be able to if we approach it in the right way.
That's amazing. I've never heard of it in that way. That's interesting, sweetie. You're absolutely right though. It has, like they calls Mother Ayahuasca, right?
Yes.
She really has her own intelligence, but I didn't realize that she also kind of opened up the corridor for other people to step in as well. Because I haven't actually done ayahuasca myself. So I haven't experienced that. So that's really interesting. Okay. And that's where Maria came in as part
Yes.
of the story, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would you like me to share more about that?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. So I prepared myself, and out of respect, right? Out of respect for the intelligences and the work that they went through to get my attention. And then I asked a friend to come and sit with me. And so I drink it, and I'm sitting here wondering, like, what's happening here? Like, am I going to throw up? Am I going to, right? And my friend, who is also an empath and a sensitive, goes, she's here, and proceeds to tell this whole story about what Mother Maria is saying, and shares this with me. And thank goodness she I had the foresight to ask her to record it. So I've got a little 2-minute recording of her sharing what she's seeing, which was really the beginning of the door opening for my journey.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying look, I think that one of the things that's happened to me on the journey of Magical Egypt 3, which is the magic episode, is a lot of these things that were alien to me and kind of seemed very odd, perhaps from one perspective. One of the things that you have to do is you have to understand that we live in a materialistic paradigm that does not allow for the gnosis and relationship with higher order beings or beings that are non-incarnate, right? And what's really, really weird about that is it's only like the last 300 years that that's been a problem for us, right? The
Right.
rest of humanity, it's been completely fine. And so basically we have kind of a paradigm that is the only thing that's preventing us from having these communications, right? It's only a paradigm, it's a belief system. And so, if you can get yourself out of the materialistic paradigm, then you open yourself up to so much more information and so much more wisdom. And that's essentially what happened to you.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. And there we are, I would always say to friends and clients that remind them that we live and like, and the apple tree doesn't make one apple, it makes, hundreds of apples, and all those apples all have multiple seeds, right? We live in a world that is abundant. We live in a world that is harmonious. It's not, the sunflower's not struggling, the crows, they're not struggling. They're living life. And that is what's true for us. And I think that we've gotten ourselves caught up in this thought form culturally that has cut us off from what is the natural well-being that is life.
So, Marla, what I find amazing is that while you're having all of this amazing journeying going on, over here, we're talking about at the Anamnesis Project, how can we take this true wisdom, right? Wisdom that we have been able to uncover as a collective group. Because what I probably haven't elaborated on as much is that it wasn't just Marla, right? There was a group of people that all had like bits and pieces of the puzzle. And together we got a really, really good vision of what needs to, or what not needs, but what is a more desirable and more harmonious way, right, to exist on this earth. And so over here in the Anamnesis Project, we're like, what can we do? How can we do it? What can we do? How can we do it? How can we share this information? And somebody rings you up and says, Marla, would you like some time at the fabulous Ghost Ranch, right? Isn't that just crazy?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And you know what's even more amazing about it is we were going to do it in June, then we were going to do it in July, and we ended up in August. And the thing that's so funny is at the beginning of the year, I completely marked off August. I didn't even know why. I just said, I'm not available. I'm gonna be doing something in August. I need to block it off. And here we are.
It's just amazing. Now, first of all, we need to explain to people what Ghost Ranch is. First, before we tell them what we're doing, let's tell them where we're doing it, because I wasn't even aware that there was this thing called Ghost Ranch, right? So tell everybody about Ghost Ranch, because it's mind blowing.
So Ghost Ranch is a 22,000 acre working ranch in northern New Mexico, Abiquiu, New Mexico. It's an hour and a half north of Santa Fe. And this is the ranch. Many people may know about it because the painter Georgia O'Keeffe lived and worked there many years and did all of those famous paintings of hers of those large flowers and bullheads and those kinds of things. And the other thing that people may not know about this ranch is it's got a very colorful history. It's known locally as the Rancho de Brujas, the Ranch of the Witches. And many artists, local artists, lived there over the last 100 years. And so that it has a history of having a lot of beautiful pottery and silversmiths and painters and sculptors. And so it has that rich history, as well as the history of people working in the mystical and magical arts.
Isn't that just unbelievable? And so, like, we're all talking about how can we share what we've found? And Marla's like, hey, I've got residency at the Ghost Ranch if you'd like to come. And I'm like, oh my God. Let's do it. Let's do it, girl. Now, the thing that really, 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 really sucks about this is that in Australia, we're not allowed to leave Australia, right? So I'm all excited about coming back to America and getting to hang out with all my Anamnesis peeps and get to actually hug Marla. But the thing is, what I have come to understand is that Mala is the perfect person for managing and putting together an event like this. If we go back to this idea of Pharaoh again, Mala is holding this energy so incredibly powerfully. And the people that she's brought in, the story that she's telling, the interaction that is going to occur there. And I think most importantly, the creation that's going to result is going to be something incredibly profound for humanity, right? I'm absolutely convinced of it. I get goose pimples just thinking about it. And so, sweetie, tell them the name you came up with for the event.
In the spirit of harmony, remembering the cosmic way.
Yes. Isn't that gorgeous? All right. So we've got harmony in there. We were talking about that before, about how everybody has a note. And so part of this is going to be to enable the people that show up to actually find their own notes, right? Okay. So tell us about that. This is mind blowing. This is absolutely mind blowing. Go ahead, Mala.
So, so we are going to be doing, we're still trying to figure out the name of them, but we're calling, for lack of a better word, we'll call them sacred geometry and consciousness games. We're going to be doing some of that. We will be doing some shared visioning. We'll be doing play. We're going to have a party one night, come as your true self or your higher self, so that we can really dance and play in the beauty and power of who we truly are. We're going to have some transformational activities that we do together, some speakers. In the afternoon, we have people who will be able to do breathwork sessions, journey dance, chakra yoga. We'll have Richard Nason there doing cosmic human design readings and helping people get into alignment with who they are.
Okay. Now stop there for 1 sec, because you've thrown so much at me. I'm like, whoa. Let's talk about the cosmic human design first, because I didn't even know what that was, right? I kind of heard a little about it, a little bit about the human design thing, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what it said about me at all. So I kind of like threw it out. But then you came at me with, there is a whole different kind of human design, which is cosmic human design. And the creator himself is going to be with you, working with the people, right? So
Yes.
Tell us about cosmic human design.
So cosmic human design is human design using what we believe is the correct astrology. And so we use the astrology, true sidereal astrology, which is a map of the sky the night you were born. This is why I love it. Like your mother, your father could go outside and take a picture of the sky, and that is your map. And then we build your astrology and your human design chart from that. And what we have found, the people who have joined the group and who are working with it, is like shifts like I've had, like I'm experiencing that shift into a right alignment, right relationship with the earth, with themselves, with creation. And it's very, very powerful.
It's really like a soul map, isn't it? Right? It's really, instead of kind of looking at your ego or your personality or your desires or whatever that might be, this is really taking you back to that root soul level of understanding of who you are, and to go to harmony, what your note is. And it seems that it is the most congruent and clear tool, right, that I've used since knowing, to kind of really get a map of where your bliss is, where your joy is, where your power is, right? Where you're in power and loving it at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think the one of the hardest things is like, okay, I'm 56 this year. I didn't know that until about 2 months ago. Right? So it's not that I haven't been trying to look for it or understand it, but I have never had the tool before, right? So I think that even if there was nothing else, that just to have people be able to come and go through that process is revelatory, right? I'm just like, I'm blown away by that. And one of the other things that I love is that this is kind of going to be a little bit obtuse and a little bit weird. And the reason that I really, really, really wanted to come is that in the magic show, the idea of ritual keeps coming up a lot. Okay. And I have never been a participant in one of those. Okay. And the research that I'm doing in Magical Egypt 3 points to the power of that work, right?
Yes.
And you are offering that to people. You are offering people the experience of ritual. And I think that's the thing that I'm going to be, well, I'm going to be bummed about missing all of it, right? But there's something that actually happens in ritual. It's kind of like, again, this is book learning, right? But that there is as much as your computer hard drive situation might be souped up and powerful, that when you're in ritual, all of the different hard drives of all the people kind of can connect together and the power becomes magnified and so much more intense, right? Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you actually, the ability to create something together, right, to harness an intention is so powerful if you do it correctly. And also the opportunity for personal transformation, right, which is how you really hold the intention. Is we are transformed so that we're transformed into the intention. Therefore, we don't necessarily have to hold it. It's we are transformed, then it is done, right? I love ritual and ceremony. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And it's such a gift and an honor to see people change, to see, I've seen, like, literally, they don't even look like the same person.
Mm, mm. And to be doing this on sacred land, like before we actually turned on the camera, we were talking a little bit about how sacred this area of New Mexico is, right? And there's so many kind of side stories about why New Mexico is sacred, that's a whole hour talk in and
Right.
of itself. But there's something about that land that is so incredibly sacred, right? And so to be
Yes.
doing sacred ritual on sacred land for real with a modern day medicine woman, right, that has pharaonic consciousness. I mean, I think it's going to be amazing. It gives me goose pimples just thinking about it, sweetie. Really,
Thank
really.
you. Thank you. It's going to be amazing. Ghost Ranch, it is, it's sacred. It sometimes I don't have the words to speak it, because there are no words. You have to be there to feel the energy. And the people who I've worked with there when I was there, and the people who I also worked with online who have been there, we all have the same feeling, like it's sacred. It really is. And to be able to do ritual and ceremony and come together and do collective visioning and collaboration in this space with this consciousness is, I think I agree, we're going to create a gift not only for ourselves, but for humanity.
And I think that's one of the things that we really want to communicate. And I'm saying I'm going to be there in spirit and online. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes.
But this is not come and have your ass in a chair and listen to people talking. This is a co-creation. This is a participation, and this is play, right? This is actually going to be fun as well, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not just asses in seats. It's not being talked to. It's like, if you feel that you have piece of this puzzle, right? If you feel that you're resonating at this resonance, then come, right? Be part of this co-creation. Yes. Oh, and sweetie, going back to Cosmic Human Design, so people can Google it. What's the name of the gentleman that does that?
Richard Mason.
Richard Mason, Cosmic Human Design. Now tell us about the other gentleman that is coming.
Oh my goodness gracious, what an amazing treat for all of us. Peter May. Peter May is a Grammy Award-winning musician and an alchemist, an athlete. He takes people on hikes at the very top of the Rocky Mountains and does prana camps up there. A very extraordinary human being. Who also makes incredible alchemists, and he's a volunteer firefighter. And you know, I think that's relevant because he will do things like we'll do an intentional burn of the forest using alchemy, working with the fae to create a situation where a plant that had not been growing there for years starts coming back. Peter also, what he's going to be doing with us that is so amazing is what Peter has been doing for years, is doing plant alchemy, working with the plant intelligences with music. So he would put some sort of, I don't know what you call it. He hooks the plant.
Like an electrode kind of
Yeah,
thing?
and then and he allows the plant to sing. And he shared them with me, and they're breathtaking. But then what he does is he uses his extraordinary sensitivity and gift as an alchemist and creates alchemies that we then ingest, and then we go on a journey with the plant. And he's a musician, he'll be playing music, and I do vocal improv, and I will be doing vocal improv, but he will be taking us, we will be going into the realm of the heart and working with the plant intelligences of Rose. And yeah, and really looking at how we open our hearts and stay in that high resonance, that high field of love that we know puts us in another dimension to be able to create and affect change. So that's what Peter will be helping us with. We'll be doing a pre-event 1.5 day. He and I will be doing that. And then during the event as well, we'll be doing some more journeys as well with him. But he's a very, very special person. And I'm so happy that he will be joining us as well.
Oh, see, personally, I think that I have found that I have had to build a wall around my heart to survive in this world, right? And I know that even this year I've had kind of 2 depressive spells with everything that has gone on, and I find it so hard to really kind of open my heart, like when I had when I broke my neck, as I mentioned before, my heart burst open. And it was the most incredible feeling. And then it slowly, it's down back into a prune. And so I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that to live and exist in everything that's happened in this world, that to survive, we've kind of had to shrivel that down, right? So that if we can undertake any process to be able to open that up again, because that's the secret, like we were talking about before, the heart is where the resonance comes from, right? And so if you can open that up, clear it out, I'm just getting goosebumps just thinking about that's going to be amazing. So sweetie, tell us about the pre-event and what's the date on the pre-event and the main event? So just break it down for us a little bit.
Okay, so the pre-event is the 13th, begins the evening of August 13th and runs all day August the 14th. And then the main event begins on the evening of the 15th. The opening circle is at 7 p.m. on the 15th, and it runs until the 19th at noon.
Okay, that's lovely, isn't it? So it's 1.5 days and then 3 days.
Yes.
So you can almost take it as almost not quite a week if you wanted to do both of them. Yes. And one of the things that we did talk about when I thought I was coming is that we wanted to make sure that they had time to experience the ranch as well, right? Because it's such a wonderful place to be. So in addition to all of the amazing events that you're planning, there is free time in there as well. And as part of this, we're going to be doing, for a lot of the just with COVID, a lot of the people that we wanted to come to this event, like myself, were not able to travel to get to the US. So we have people, and we won't announce them now, but all over the world that are coming online to speak at the same time. So there's going to be an online event, and we're going to do a Zoom about that in about 2 weeks as well to kind of get people up to speed on that. But we promise you there's some amazing speakers, amazing. And they're going to be talking as well. And so during the afternoons, people can do that. But you have music, you have dance, you have poetry, you have now In fact, I'm going to pull it up because I just want to ask a few questions about what some of these things are, my love. So talk to me about embodiment practice. What is the embodiment practice?
So embodiment practices are practices that we will do, primarily play or dance or some kind of movement, where we don't just take it up here in ideas, we really bring it into our bodies. We really bring it in, we can feel it so that we can move with it, so that then we have muscle memory with it. So we'll be doing some really fun embodiment practices that will help us to anchor in the knowledge that we're learning.
Wow. And you were telling me about a circle where everybody gets some gold oil rubbed on the back of their neck. And tell everybody about that, because I was like, oh, that's so delicious. What is the this is one of the consciousness games. So what's that, sweetie?
Well, it's just a game that is really fun to play, where you have a group of people sit in a circle with one candle in the center, and then we do a brief meditation to move into heart coherence, and then we rub right here at the base of the neck a little bit of oil of gold to connect them to, right, to connect them to, we call it the plate in reality transurfing, that connection that connects us to creation, our ability to create through dimension. So we kind of wake that up and get people vibrating at the vibration of gold, and then we invite them into a shared story, into a shared viewing, into a shared. And so what they've got between them in this circle is they're creating this field, right? This field of vision of creation that they're sharing together, that they're basically seeing and pulling into this reality from the alternate realms. And then we have them, once they have it and they feel it and they're in resonance and coherence together, where literally they're all breathing in coherence with it, then we have them turn around and then beam that to the rest of the room and share that. And then we invite the rest of the room, excuse me, to come into the story and support the creation of it.
Oh my gosh, that
Fun as
sounds
a group afterwards to make sure we all are grounding together. So that's one thing that we're going to do.
Sweetie, should people who are thinking about coming to this, should they do any preparation? For example, should they consider, I mean, because you're doing serious magic work. I mean, like this is real, right?
Yeah, it is.
Should they perhaps consider, and I don't know because we haven't talked about this, so this is completely, just curiosity, but should they perhaps like not do alcohol for a few days before, or kind of do a fasting kind of, or natural foods or something a few days before so that they're clean? Or is any of that necessary, or are we fine, come as you are, and we'll fix your note up once you get there if it's a bit wonky?
How I would approach it myself is, first of all, I want to say, come. Like, if you feel called to come, just come, right? What I would say for myself is, if you would like it to be your own personal pilgrimage and sacred initiation journey, then treat it as that. Then join us, take a few days or a few weeks to clean up, the food that you bring into your body, to, perhaps not have alcohol. And alcohol, especially before you're doing ceremony, is very detrimental, because alcohol, it interrupts our circadian rhythms, and it's the rhythm, right, that creates the harmony. So that's why it's really good to avoid alcohol, especially. But it'll be what it will be. And I invite you to come if you feel called, which we also should say we only have spots for about 19 people.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It really is, if you feel called, right? Because I think what is important is, again, we are creating a harmony. We
Yes.
want you to bring your note. We want you to bring your wisdom, your knowledge, and your remembrances too. I mean, don't forget, this came out of us remembering our past lives, right? So there are gifts that we all have that make us special and distinct, right? So this is a collaborative, co-creative space. And
Yes.
if you are like, I've got this thing, I don't know what to do with it, I don't know how to bring it here. Because I'll tell you what, also, that really happened in the Anamnesis project as well, didn't it, Dawn? Well, I mean, it's still ongoing, but people were like, I've had this dream, it's so important, I don't know what it means. And all of a sudden, there was a safe space and it came out. And it was just like, wow, okay, this is really important. And that's how we ended up here. So
Yeah.
if you haven't had the ability to participate, or if you feel that maybe you don't have a past life memory, but you have another burning passion, bring it, co-create in this sacred space that Marla is creating for us, right? And let's see, right? Let's see. Let's see what can come out. And I guess that's what the visioning is. The visioning part of this, right? Is
Right.
the visioning is the co-creation.
Yes, the visioning is the co-creation because we all have pieces of the puzzle. And the way I like to look at it is many of us have this thing, this little thing and like deep in our heart that's been whispering at us our whole lives. And like it's been whispering at us our whole lives for a reason. Like bring that part, come. If you feel called, join us. Let's bring that little whisper out and see what gift it has for us, and to also help you to embody it, right, so that you can walk it into the world.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea too, about that you said before about changing, like you are the change. The change is you. You are, like, I mean, it's always like, be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, you're like literally be the change,
Yes.
right? Vibrate at a different level, which is incredible. Now, I just want to ask about some really mundane stuff. All the food's included, right?
Yes,
Fabulous
all of the
food.
food. Mhm.
And Marla was telling me before about how she's going to spoil y'all. And I'm very jealous because she's got some yummy, yummy, yummy things in store. And then there's accommodation in terms of it's a ranch, right? So
Right.
beautiful ranch, rustic, cabiny
Yes.
things. And if we do get more people, I believe there is camping available as well, possibly, right?
Yes.
If we
Yes.
want to
Mhm.
do camping. Okay. So, and it's going to
And
be
then there's also
warm.
the Abiquiu Inn is not that far away. If we like get inundated, we can have a few options, but we want to keep it pretty intimate as well. You know.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sweetie. And so food and accommodation is included. And then all of the activities that we've been talking about on the main event are included. But there's also the journey into the heart, which is the pre-event.
Yes.
And so, okay. So there's really kind of two portions, and you can choose. If you just want, if you can only do the first one, can you do the first one, or can you can you only just do the pre-event, or do you have to do both? Or I mean,
No,
can
you
you
can you can
just do
do
one or the
mhm.
other or both? Okay. So
Yes.
you can come and sign up for just the pre-event. If time, for instance, somebody's schedule doesn't work out, then they can do that.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Now, my dear, I've set this up at the Magical Egypt website so that people can go to events.magicalegypt.com. And if people have questions for you, because you're on the ground there, how can people contact you, my dear?
They can contact me at modernrootwoman@gmail.com. That's modernrootwoman@gmail.com.
And that's all one word.
Yes.
Fantastic. And you've also made it easy for people so that there is a deposit. They don't have to pay the whole thing. And I mean, the prices are just amazing, honestly, for what you get, sweetie. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very, 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 very affordable and reasonable thing, which I think you've impressed me to death with what you've done, with that, what you've been able to pull together, sweetie. It's amazing. So just walk us through a day. What is a day going to be like? You get up, do you walk around Ghost Ranch before
You walk,
breakfast or something?
yeah, you walk around. You can go do yoga. There's yoga happening. and other activities before we begin. You can go have breakfast. Then after breakfast, we will gather together and have some sort of opening. Then we'll have a lecture or a speech that will also be shared with the online audience. And then after that, we'll go offline, off camera, and we're going to do some dialoguing, some visioning, some ritual. Then we'll go to lunch. And then after lunch, you can either have a reading with Richard Mason or do breath work or yoga. There's lots of activities, and people who are coming a part of our group just for us are creating beautiful things for the afternoon for us. Or you can listen to the live speeches with Venice and our other guests. And then after dinner, and then you'll have free time in there because we've got the whole afternoon. And then in the evening, we'll have another something, a speech or something like that. And then we'll turn cameras off and we'll do more ritual work.
Oh, sounds wonderful. If I wanted to go horseback riding, is there horseback riding at the ranch?
Yes, there's horseback riding. Yes, absolutely. There's a tour of the area to look at the plants and the history of the botanicals in the area. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, it sounds gorgeous, darling.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful. It's hard to explain how beautiful it is.
Oh, look, I'm just so devastated that things are, I think, look, if I left, I would most likely not be allowed back into Australia. My niece has been trying to get in for 2 years and it's just such a mess. But as I said, I will be there in spirit. And I don't think I could find a better person to be creating this event for our Magical Egypt people, Marla. You know what I mean? It's just going to be, you have so much heart and ethics and intelligence, and you're inspirational, my love. And so I feel very, very, very confident that you can look after the Magical Egypt people with me way over in Australia, being very, very jealous and sitting on the internet with you all, though, so that I can be there in spirit.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there anything else, sweetie, that we want to tell them? I'm just having a quick look. I think we've kind of covered. I mean, where we're at, guys, just so you know, is that we know all of the bits and pieces, and we're putting together a website that it's evolving. Just because there's only 5 weeks now, 5 weeks or 5 weeks out, right? So we just wanted to get to you as soon as we can. But look, send us an email, check the website. If you want to come, you can pay a deposit or you can pay the whole thing. And we know what we're doing. We're just figuring out exactly when we're doing it, right? So you'll get an idea of at least what we're going to be doing, not necessarily on Monday we're doing this and Tuesday, but you'll get an idea of the scope of things. And Marla and I are here to answer any questions, right, that we may
absolutely
have. And I'm guessing Southwest Airlines is there still a Southwest Airlines in America?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You fly into Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Airlines. From the West Coast, you can take Alaska Airlines as well, and it's actually it's fairly inexpensive to fly into Albuquerque.
And then I'm thinking Southwest used to be great, cheap, like really cheap. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. And then you take a shuttle to Santa Fe, and then from Santa Fe another shuttle to Ghost Ranch. Is about 2.5 hours from Albuquerque to Ghost Ranch.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you go from Albuquerque. So you could even go a day early and have a day in Santa Fe or something.
Oh, and Santa Fe is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually been through that whole area. And when I was in New Mexico, in fact, the last time that I was in America, and I went to see Rick Strassman, who is the guy that did the DMT molecule book, and he lives in New Mexico. So I really got to explore it, and it's the landscape is amazing, right?
Oh, it's amazing. And there's the White Sands National Park is there, which is just miles and miles of white sand, amazingly stark white sand. And then, like, one of my favorite places on the planet, Ojo Caliente hot spring baths, is not that far away. So there's
hot spring baths too. Oh, so we might have to put like that as an afternoon activity, right? Everybody goes to the hot spring baths. Oh yes. Oh, get a bus. We'll get a bus. Oh, this is going to be so fun.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
Marla,
gonna
thank
be
you.
amazing.
Thank you. Oh, is there anything else you want to add before we sign off on this today?
I would like to say that um, if you feel called, if this is something that you would like to participate in, if you know that there's some harmony in you that's calling you to this, come play with us. We're going to have fun. So we're going to go high, we're going to go deep, we're going to have a lot of fun and play, and we're going to let it be easy.
And I'm going to be jealous, but that's okay. I'll come next time. Because hopefully we'll do this every year, sweetie. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I hope so too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, all right. I'm gonna when you're doing your visions, just vision that for me.
Oh, are you kidding me? Absolutely. It's already done. Absolutely.
Right, sweetie. Well, thank you so much for putting all of this together, sweetie. And thank you so much for, being on the call with me so that we can tell people about it. And I'm so excited that this is our first Magical Egypt event and it's going to be such a wonderful event. And yeah, I invite you guys, come along, have fun with Marla, and then take lots of pictures and make me even more jealous than I already am.
Well, you're going to be part of the fun too, Denise. You are, right? In the afternoons, you're going to be interviewing people, and your presence there it's going to be there.
I'll be there in spirit. I'll just get like a big hot bathtub of water and I'll sit in it when I'm doing my interview so I can feel like I'm in the Caliente Springs or something. I'll figure it out. All right, my love. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. And we'll do this again in a few weeks about the online side so people can understand what's going on there. Fantastic. Well, everybody come to events.magicalegypt.com, find out all about it. And Marla's email's there. You know my email, Venice at Magical Egypt. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.